Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to All Things Moore County. Dorothy, a few weeks ago, I think you played that little snippet, didn't you?
I certainly did.
It reminded me of the TV show I grew up with as a kid, The Addams Family.
Yeah, I remember watching The Addams Family, too.
I think it's very recognizable, that music.
Yes.
So we're here because the Pinecrest Players Theatre Dept is putting together their version of The Addams Family, which is going to be shown at the Robert E. Lee Auditorium March the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. Friday and Saturday evening there'll be a 7 o'clock show, and on Sunday there'll be a 2 o'clock matinee. We're surrounded by 8 of the participants from the Pinecrest Players Theatre Dept who are going to speak a little bit today. We're going to introduce everybody.
The room is full of energy.
The room is full of energy. Social media is full of a lot of information about the production. And just this past weekend, I was fortunate to attend the Mary Poppins production over at the O'Neill School.
Oh.
And it was headed up by Callie McIntyre, who, if you have to scratch your head to remember who she is, something is wrong. Do you recall?
Me? Of course.
Yeah, she had her own show here a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
She was the Mary Poppins character with a wonderful English accent, which we're going to ask her to mimic this morning. I was very impressed by it, and I remember Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. And in looking back at the Addams Family, do you remember John Astin and Carolyn Jones, who played Morticia? Okay, and her husband? And there were the children, and there was Lurch, and there was Uncle Fester.
Yes.
So we have a whole new cast today, and I want to introduce everybody around the table. And they were good enough to come in and take some time off. To my left, we're going to start with a past host of the show who is going to replace me one day. That's Callie McIntyre, who is going to be playing Wednesday. No, she's not playing on Wednesday. She's playing the character Wednesday. Wednesday Addams, who everybody will remember as a little girl in the Addams Family. Callie, Wednesday is not such a little girl in this particular version, is she?
No, she's actually 18.
So you're playing an 18-year-old Wednesday, and this is a version of the Addams Family all grown up?
Yes, it's revolving around her falling in love with a guy who everybody will meet. His name is Lucas Beinecke, and he's very normal, which everybody knows Wednesday is totally not.
Okay, and it just so happens to your immediate left is your boyfriend, your fiance.
Not in real life.
Well, that's Ryan. And Ryan, pronounce your last name.
Gagnon.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So you have the role of being the love interest in the Addams Family, and you were not part of the original Addams Family show. You're a character.
No, sir. I'm new to the whole Addams Family world.
How's it going?
Quite well. Wednesday's quite a handful. But it's going great, I think, and everything's coming together really well.
You've got about a week and a half before showtime. What year of school are you in?
Oh, I'm a senior.
Are you? What are you going to be doing next year?
I'm either going to be going to University of South Carolina or the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Okay. So the two of you, we're going to talk a little bit about your relationship. We're going to get nosy as we go, but I want to continue around the table. Caroline Mays, who is a past guest and always a welcome sight at this table. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. The cast of characters you play, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, I play, I'm in the Grandmother Ensemble. I'm also dance captain, and I am the Moon.
You are the Moon.
I am. There's a little story behind that. One of the characters falls in love with the Moon.
Okay, like in real life, like a person, like a guy and a girl?
Uncle Fester falls in love with the moon.
Oh, that makes sense. Uncle Fester was kind of quirky,
He's the bald. He's the bald guy.
That's right. So this isn't your first hurrah either. You've been involved in different productions. Mm-hmm. Okay. Has this been a good experience?
It's been so much fun. I love working with Pinecrest. It's such a great opportunity to get to build my acting skills, and it's so professional.
The camaraderie at this table is very evident. I pick it up as you all were talking before the show, and we're going to talk about that a little bit too, because what you all create is a synergy that didn't exist before when you were all doing different things in your lives, right? Mm-hmm. To your left is Megan Bankos, who was you were on a couple of weeks ago with Callie and Adam Faw, and you are the stage manager.
Yes, sir.
You are the chief police, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes. I like to think so.
You're the traffic cop.
Yes.
And you're just honing your skills with each production?
Yes. Yeah.
Improving them?
Yes, sir.
Is this a well-behaved group of people that are sitting at the table? You can tell me. Just you and I are talking.
Yes, sir. They're actually fantastic to work with.
We can talk about them the whole show.
No, they're actually like so talented and so like charismatic for the show, and
okay.
It's very impressive to watch them become the characters that they are portraying, and I'm very proud.
Oh, there's maternal instinct in that voice.
Yes, she is our mother.
Sophie Fowler, who is sitting opposite me, which is perfect, right at the table, so I can look at you the whole show. You are going to be playing the cello in the pit during the production. Yeah. So I remember watching the show as a kid. Believe it or not, I was a kid at one point in time. The strings were a predominant instrument that played in the background. And I wonder why strings, what is it about strings that evokes mystery and creepiness and, something that the Addams Family could be all about?
I know there's like a different variety because you have a really like the deep strings and then you have the really high strings. Right. So if you're like a violinist, you have the more of the shrieky side.
That's it.
And then if you're like a cello or a bass, you have more of the dark, deep side. So you get like a good variety of like spooky throughout.
And the music sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yes.
So you're the tone setter at the table. And you don't have to be on stage, right?
No.
You'll be hidden.
Yep.
You'll be in the pit, but you'll be introduced.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sophie Fowler. To your left is Logan Anderson. You are the Lurch understudy. You are in the Uncle ensemble, and you guys are gonna have to explain to me what these ensembles are. And you play the executioner. Is that?
Yes.
I believe you.
Yes.
Logan, what year in school are you in?
I'm a senior at Pinecrest, yeah.
This isn't your first go-around. You've been in other productions?
Yeah, I was in The Wizard of Oz last year.
Okay. It's a challenge, isn't it? But it's also a welcome challenge to have a new production each year to put your teeth around.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a great excuse to not do my homework. So.
You're a senior. What are you going to be doing next year?
I've been admitted to UNC Chapel Hill, and that's probably where I'll be going unless Duke decides they want me.
Okay. So is this your last production before graduation?
There's the senior show in a couple months, but other than that, yes.
Okay. Well, welcome. Good morning to you, too.
Thank you.
To your left is Livy McHugh, short for Olivia. You're a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
And you are playing Ryan's mother?
I am Alice Beinecke.
You are Alice Beinecke. So the Beineckes, help me out with the Beineckes, because I don't remember the name in the original Addams Family. Was there a Beinecke in the original show?
Sir.
Oh, okay. So the Beineckes are brand new to the production.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one of the wrinkles that people are going to see.
Yeah. So they're basically visiting New York on a bit of a vacation from Ohio.
Okay.
And it's a small family. It's just Alice, Mal, who is her husband, and their son, Lucas.
Okay. So, Lucas, do you approve of his fiancée?
Alice definitely does. Alice is kind of wacky. She speaks in rhyme all the time.
Okay.
Which is really fun. Really fun lines.
Okay.
And but Mal, on the other hand, is requiring a little bit more convincing. of this Addams family.
Okay. Well, I approve of her. She's been on the show in the past, and I know she'll pull it off, whatever it's going to be.
All right.
But we're going to be talking with you a little bit about your role in the play as we go. And to your left is Jacob Parker, who's playing the John Aston character that people of my age remember,
yes.
Gomez Addams.
Yes, sir.
You are Wednesday's dad.
That I am.
Has she given you a hard time growing up? Did she have a tough adolescence? What's her deal?
You know, nothing's too crazy for the Addams family, you know. So, I mean, at points.
Yeah.
Yeah, at points, always.
Okay, so you play the parental character.
Yes.
My guess is you're going to be the voice of reason. No, that was a bad guess.
That is definitely Morticia, my wife.
Okay, and Morticia is not the young lady who's playing Morticia is not here.
No.
Okay, and the character Caleb Brown, who is playing Lurch, is not here.
No.
So is Caleb Brown very tall?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
How tall is he? Like
6'3".
9'4"?
6'3", and then he has 6-inch platforms that he has, so he'll be like 6'9".
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are going to be playing caricatures of the characters? Is that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to just throw a quick question out to the table, because I know, Callie, how excited you were about this production, because when you were on with Adam Faw, you were all talking about it, and what makes this show different or more exciting than maybe something that you've done in the past? And I'm just a general question. I know who's going to go first. Caroline.
Honestly, I didn't even know Addams Family was a musical theater show until Mr. Faw announced it. But it is one of the funniest scripts I have ever seen. It's hysterical, and it's so funny. And I think the audience will really enjoy it.
Is it dark humor or is it just quirky humor?
It's mixed, very mixed.
Most certainly.
Okay. But humor is great. So it's a comedy.
Yes, very much.
But it's a comedy it's going to be a love story. It's going to be a soap opera. Right?
It's everything.
Everything under the sun.
I mean, Callie, how would you summarize all the different things? What are people going to see when they come to the production?
I think there's a mix. I think it appeals to everybody, because if you're wanting, laughs, I think this is definitely the show for you. But in the second act, it gets really into mother, father, daughter, son, relationships. And I think something, my favorite song actually in the whole show is called Happy Sad. And it's about, Gomez sings it to Wednesday whenever he realizes that, he doesn't have those reins on Wednesday anymore, and he has to let her go. There's a line in it, and it's like, now a boy says he adores she who once was yours. And that just breaks my heart every time. So I think that when people are going to come to this show, they're going to have a lot to relate to.
Okay.
Because even though they're weird, they're creepy, and they're kooky, I think that they're going to be able to relate to, the parental side.
And Jake, you'll be mic'd up for the singing.
Oh, yes.
You'll be mic'd up, Callie, for the singing. So in between the lines, Logan, I'll ask you this question. So this is a comedy, it's a love story, it's a story about a family. It sounds like there are probably some really good life lessons in the play that people can get, whether they're familiar with the Addams Family or not. I didn't want you to just think on that. I wanted you to respond.
Trying to catch what the question was.
Basically, it's okay. Basically, there are some life lessons that will touch people of all different ages. One of the things was the father saying goodbye to his daughter. That happens with parents when they have to let go. But so there may be some deeper meanings.
Yeah, a lot of the show I think is about building bridges. So the Addams Family brand, like at its core, has always it's a very satirical portrayal of like upper class America, be seen as out of touch. There's actually a scene in the show about midway through where Mal Beinica makes a remark to Gomez Addams, I believe, about wanting to go back to the real America.
Right.
So I think what a lot of it is about is like creating a sense of understanding between two families who are very, very different, have nothing in common. And over the course of the show, they're forced, but they still manage it. manage to work past their differences, and they become a lot more understanding of each other and each other's lifestyles.
Okay. So there's a little bit of drama, there's a little bit of comedy, there's some quirky humor, but it sounds like at the end of the day this is a fun production to work on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm going to ask you, Olivia, and I want to call you Olivia because that's a formal name, but you like to go by your nickname?
Yes, sir.
Instead, right? Okay. What does the show mean to you and the role you're playing?
To me, it really gives off a motherly love as well, both from Morticia and Alice, I think. I think that Alice just really wants to see Lucas be happy and whatever is best for him and what he wants, and it's obvious to her that he wants Wednesday. So she kind of tries to convince Mal that this is what he wants. I raised him, I know him, and that's a little bit of the issue between Mal and Alice.
Mm-hmm.
He works at an office most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
so they get into a fight at some point in the show, and she basically tells him, I raised him, I know what's best for him.
Mm-hmm. You know what they say sometimes about parents? The hardest thing about parenting is to let go of your kids when they're ready to fly the coop. And that it's not when the child is a young, like a baby, but it's when they get to your age. And in real life, many of you will be going on to college, and your parents are going to, you can go, but come back. They just don't want to let go. Is there part of that in the...
Yes, definitely. I think so.
What?
A little bit more from Mal, because he wasn't there for Lucas's adolescence. He kind of wants to have the time with him.
Okay. Is this also a musical?
Yes.
Yes.
So what percentage? What percentage, Callie, of this would be? Will there be singing?
Yeah, there's a ton of singing.
So it's a musical.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a musical. It's not just a play.
Okay.
I think that what would you say the percentage would be, Megan? Probably like at least 50% of it. Yeah, because a lot of the explanations to the lines that are said come through in the songs.
Okay.
So like Wednesday sings a song called "Pulled," where she sings how she's been pulled in a new direction. There's a lot of explaining through that song.
Okay.
I think the songs really move the plot forward.
Okay. Where does it take place? In New York?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
In New York City?
In Central Park.
Central Park.
Is that where the original Addams? I don't even know. Well, you wouldn't know because you guys weren't around. Probably nor were your parents. But so it takes place in New York City.
It takes place in the house of the Addams.
Okay. So who plays Uncle Fester?
So it's
I remember
actually,
him.
Yeah.
He was bald. He looked like he just was inappropriate.
He's actually being played by my twin brother. And
okay.
He was the
no
lion.
offense to your twin brother.
No, it's fine. He some may remember him. He was the lion last year. He has this crazy large amount of hair. And so we have to put all of that in a bald cap and hope for the best.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really enjoying the role and falling in love with his moon.
Okay, with his moon. We have to talk about, is there a character that plays a moon, or is it just a real figure, a real moon?
Yes,
Oh,
Caroline.
you're playing the moon.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You know what? You have so many roles, I got confused.
It's all right.
So he falls in love with you.
Falls in love with the moon.
Okay.
And there's this one really funny line that he says, he says, how could a bald, fat guy with no sexuality fall in love? And I think Addams Family falls in love with the moon totally works.
Yeah.
And Caroline's blushing, Dorothy, when she says that. Her face is turning all shades of red. She's getting uncomfortable. We're going to come back in the second set. We want to talk a little bit about ticket prices. We want to. This is going to be at the Robert E. Lee Auditorium. We only have a couple of weeks to go, and you guys are doing a great job of getting the word out there. I want to talk about the love story. I want to kind of know what's going on, because I remember Wednesday, she was like 5 or 6. She was kind of precocious. She would hit her brother. She was kind of there, but she wasn't a major character in the original. But she's going to be a major character in this version, correct?
Yes. Very much.
All right. The Addams Family is coming to the Robert E. Lee Auditorium March 16th, 17th, and 18th. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. We're talking all about the Addams Family. The Pinecrest Players Theatre Department will be putting on the production Friday, March 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Sunday the 18th. There'll be 2 7 p.m. evening shows on Friday and Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday at the Robert E. Lee Auditorium. This is a new version of the Addams Family. They've all grown up, and so much of this play seems to mimic so many life issues that lots of people have, with marriage, relationships, young love, and I looked to my left to see if Ryan was holding hands with Wednesday, but they're to be in practice. So is this a pretty risque love affair? Is this a high-blown romance? Help me out. Explain the story, Callie, Ryan.
Okay, I'll go first. So basically, I just want to reiterate. Wednesday is a very strong, empowered character, and I love playing her because of that fact. But I think that one of her weaknesses is love and relationships.
And
melts. I think, well, yeah, but because this Lucas is makes her feel like a little girl and all happy and something that she's not used to, and she even gets to a point in the show where she's trying to change to make herself be normal. Like, she comes out in a dress that she wouldn't usually wear and a color that she usually wouldn't wear. Mm-hmm. And she comes downstairs and Morticia's like, "What are you doing?" And Gomez literally says, "You look like a crime scene." Like, what in the world? But I wouldn't say our relationship is very it's very teenage love. I don't even know how to explain it. It's not risque, but it's very. It's star-crossed
can't
lovers.
Keep your hands off each
other.
Yeah,
really.
You can say it here.
We really can't on stage. We kiss a lot in the show. And there's
lucky for her, you know.
Ha ha. There's one scene where like we're kissing, and Pugsley, my little brother, walks in, and I get so mad, and I'm like, "Lucas, excuse me while I kill my brother." Like, I get mad.
Okay.
So, Ryan, how would you explain our relationship?
So I want to go back to something Ryan just said. He said, "Lucky her."
I mean, lucky me too, of course. Lucas is the furthest thing from an Addams that you could think of. He's a little nerd. He's smart. He's like all about books. He wants to be like a writer or a medical examiner. He's not what you would expect someone like Wednesday to fall in love with. But something about him, it makes her tick. And he is just completely and totally infatuated with Wednesday and her craziness and how like much she takes risks and everything like that, and it terrifies him, but he loves it, and he is totally in love with her.
Okay, so on one level you have the kids, you guys, romantically in love, infatuation, you've said. You know, and there's romantic love and there's love, right?
Yes, sir.
But on the other hand, you have two sets of parents, your parents and Wednesday, your parents. Mm-hmm. And they go through some issues, too, as a result of your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My parents, they kept me, it was a very like sheltered type of childhood. Alice was very protective.
Your mother over here is watching everything you say.
Watch out.
She was a fantastic mother.
Thank you.
But it sort of kept me away from having all these experiences in life, sort of like meeting Wednesday or being more like Wednesday. But I feel like that ended up helping in the long run because everything worked out and I found the love of my life.
And I would say for Morticia and Gomez, I mean, everybody knows Morticia and Gomez to be an iconic couple. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've seen dress up, like, in couples' costumes for Morticia and Gomez for Halloween every year. They're known for, you know, being perfect for each other. And I think this is awesome in the show that they have these marital problems because it shows that not everybody is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Realistic, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Livy is Lucas's mom.
Yes.
You have some marital issues with your husband over what?
Yes, very much so. It's not even over a specific thing that happened. I think through the years, while he's been off at the office, they've just kind of fallen out of love. And she's been busy raising Lucas and maintaining the household, and one of the major fights that they get into about is that Alice thinks she knows what's best for Lucas because she raised him single-handedly.
Okay. So you're watching from a distance, but you're sort of trying to direct the relationship of your son and Wednesday?
I would say in a little bit, yes. I'm trying to convince Mal to let them do it and let them work it out.
Okay.
My solo song is in the middle of Full Disclosure, and by the end of it, I'm passed out on top of the dinner table. So as you can imagine, she had a little too much to drink, but she had fun at the party. Yeah.
But also, all of this is literally Wednesday's fault, if we think about it. Because Wednesday, the main problem in the show is that after we sing our opening number, Wednesday basically comes to Gomez, her father, and is like, look, can you keep a secret because I'm engaged? Like, this is what's happening. Don't tell Mom. And then Morticia can sense that there's a secret.
Oh, yes.
And that gets Gomez in trouble. That brings Lucas into the whole thing. And then Wednesday's like, let's run off. Let's get married right now. And Lucas is like, no, you're crazy. And then Wednesday's like, no, yeah, I am crazy, but you're going to have to deal with it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing about secrets is that's what in the Addams Family, Morticia always tells people to never keep secrets and how never keeping secrets is what makes a marriage good.
Right.
And the fact that there's a secret kind of adds like a twist to everything.
Dramatic pressure.
Yes. She sings an entire song about secrets. So.
Okay, so I get that there is a really good natural chemistry at this table amongst all of you trying to put together this production. Good teamwork?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Something special going on here?
It's just we spend a lot of time together.
Yes, Megan?
And so, because we have class along with, like, the after-school rehearsals, so we kind of just we're, like, kind of forced into this small space together. It's not small, but, like, this space together, and, like, we have to make this. So, like, while Fa might be working with, like, the ensemble, the leads are talking and, like, getting to know one another, and then vice versa when Fa's working with the leads.
Did you all know each other before this production started?
Yes.
Yeah.
Through the theater classes and stuff.
So you all had some familiarity with each other?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because when you... Go ahead.
It's truly like the theater community around here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows everybody. You see same faces at auditions a lot of the time, so it's a comfortable environment for most.
I got a really important general question to ask. What would it be like if you were in school and you didn't have the arts?
Boring.
Boring.
Well,
Crazy boring.
Yeah.
not creative.
I know I joked earlier that the musical is an excuse to not do my homework, but it's really a lot more than that. It's very much an outlet. Like I do along with Livy and Caroline, I do speech and debate as well on the side, and that, like, in conjunction with the musical is just a great way to sort of express, get some escape from the stresses and stuff of school. So I think that's what's so great about the musical.
Wouldn't you say you also learn more in the arts, in the real life situation?
We learn, like, leadership.
Right.
Positions,
Public
'cause, like,
speaking.
English
Right.
classes love us because anytime we read Shakespeare, they want us to read out
Yes.
their characters.
That's
like,
true.
reach out to
That's
us.
true.
Definitely.
So the arts have a really, really important place in your education.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think in going to the Mary Poppins show this Saturday and watching it, I saw some really talented kids. I saw one very talented young lady. I'm going to call you a kid. But here's what I noticed during the show. She played the Mary Poppins character. But she had two young children who were playing the kids that she was a nanny to. They were exceptional. So, Callie, when you were that age, when you were that young lady's age who played...
Jane.
She was great.
Yeah.
She owned every little scene she was in, did she not?
Yeah.
Did you look back and see yourself?
Yes, I totally see myself in her. I think her name is Charlotte. She's 8 years old, I believe.
She was great.
I started singing, dancing, and acting whenever I was around 6. So seeing myself kind of through her, it was really sweet because I know that she's going to amount to something amazing. And I even heard her talking to an adult that she was like, I want to go into the arts when I'm older and I want to be a performer. I was like, you do that, baby girl. Like, you go.
She wanted to take over. I could see it. And both of the kids were great.
She was telling me my lines when I got them wrong.
In a word or two right around the table, because time is running short, What do the arts mean to you, Callie?
Okay,
that was it? Next?
Yeah. I feel like I'm my best version of myself whenever I'm performing. Okay. And I think that's something that you can't find through, honestly, relationships or just like a regular teenager. I find it through the arts. I don't find it through anything else.
Well said, Ryan.
I think they push me to
kissing,
improve.
right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think they push me to improve. They want me to get the leading man, get to kiss the girl at the end.
There you go. Caroline.
Yeah, for me, it's almost like an escape from reality. Like, I feel like I'm free whenever I'm singing, dancing, acting, any of those, and I've really just fallen in love with it over the years.
Outstanding. Megan.
It really lets me hone my creativity and put something into the world that it's not just me who's seeing it now. It's this audience and this, like, group of people, and they can appreciate it as much as I may appreciate it.
And Sophie as the cello in the pit.
I really just feel like alive just to be able to like play, and then it's just, I mean, you feel yourself completely, and you shut everybody else out.
Yes.
So you don't get judgments or anything else from
Your confidence level also increases, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Every time you put yourself out on the line, huh?
Oh, yeah.
For other parts of your life too.
Yeah.
Right? Logan, I ask you the same question. What do the arts mean to you?
It's a great way to find the people that you really click with. Like, I found some of my friends that I've trusted the most through theater.
That's huge. It's a bond, and it's something that you don't lose after the production is over. Olivia, you're a sophomore.
Yes.
You look like an old soul to me. I think you'll have a great answer.
Yes.
Yes, we agree.
I'm gonna agree wholeheartedly with Caroline. It's an escape. Being able to portray others is an opportunity that will help you connect with people throughout your entire life.
Very good. I mean, excellent answer. Yep. Jacob?
It's really like it's an outlet, and like they said, it's an escape to be able to play a character that's it's really freeing, I guess, from real life reality.
Okay. You guys, the Pinecrest Players Theatre Department is putting on the production of the Addams Family March 16th, 17th, and 18th at the Robert E. Lee Auditorium, Friday evening at 7, Saturday at 7, and a matinee at 3. I'm going to come and see you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, at 2 o'clock. That's right. And ticket prices?
$10.
$10. That's it?
Right?
Yep, at the
5
door.
or 10 or 5?
10 at the door.
10 at
the door.
10 at the door. And if you're okay, well, you can go onto your all over Facebook and take a look.
It's Pinecrest Players Theatre on Facebook and Instagram.
Guys, thanks for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking forward to the Addams Family in a couple of weeks. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
See you twice.
That's the way when you're an Addams, you need to have a sense of humor. When you're an Addams, you need to have a taste for death.
Welcome back to our third and final set of All Things Moore County. Carolyn Mays, who was here with us the first two sets, is here with us. She's going to join us for a little while. And we're actually going to be talking about Vision for More. Dorothy, we didn't even have time at the beginning of the show to say the show was about a couple of upcoming events.
No, we didn't.
The conversation amongst the students, we had to give them as much time as possible.
Oh, yes, they've got so much energy and so much to get out.
Well, a couple of months ago, Pam Partis came on, and the director of Vision for More, and they spoke about a couple of concerts and a couple of benefits that they do, and they advertise on social media. And with the spring season coming up, Pam, you're here to talk a lot about some of the upcoming events. But just to recap, can you give us a Cliff Notes version of Vision for More, what it is and what it stands for?
Sure. Thanks so much for having us, Bill. It's great to see you again.
Always, yeah.
So Vision for More was founded in December of 2015
right.
by Robert A. Baillie. and a lot of people know Bob from the Mirror Foundation. He was one of the founders of that organization.
That's right.
And transitioned into Vision for More. And Bob was very generous and aware of what a wonderful and giving community we have, and saw a need to be able to help out the smaller nonprofits in our community that don't really have the resources to get out and do fundraising and produce events on their own.
Right.
So the concept really with Vision for More is that we will produce the event, organize it, do all the advertising, basically from everything from producing the flyers, promoting it on social media, selling tickets, and we partner with a local nonprofit. And as partner, what we ask that they do is to post the flyers for us, sell the tickets, and provide the volunteers. Mm-hmm. So it's really a win-win for everyone involved.
Right.
And each of our upcoming events will benefit a different local nonprofit. So when you work with us, you get to work with 5 different local nonprofits this year.
Caroline, what I am really impressed about, and you will be impressed about, so many of the events that Vision for More hook up with have to do with music, has to do with theater.
Oh, wow.
And the arts.
We
That's
try
awesome.
to cover a little bit of everything.
You've done in the past a couple of concerts.
Yes, well, Bob loved music. So that's kind of how we got started with it, with trivia bands, and he loved Elvis and ABBA.
Yep.
And this year we're spreading our wings a little bit and partnering with Judson Theater Company for a play, The Miracle Worker.
And they're going to actually be on the show the first week of April. I guess the production is April 15th.
Well, there's a series of productions, but we're very fortunate that Morgan Sills has agreed to host a special benefit performance for benefiting Vision for More on Sunday, April 15th at 3 o'clock, the Sunday matinee.
So how does that work? So that particular show is going to be wrapped around with Vision for More.
You got it. We'll receive a portion of the ticket sales for that day, that day.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And your grassroots organization will be doing what to assist with that particular matinee?
Well, you'll see me out driving around, helping post flyers everywhere, coming, sharing the information with you and all your listeners, as well as speaking at different events and helping to sell the tickets and get the word out. Okay. And it's not only going to benefit Vision for More, but as my partner here, Chris Jordan, can tell you, it will benefit the Boy Scouts of America.
So, Chris Jordan, you are a board member?
I am a board member.
You are the board member for Vision for More?
One of the board members.
One of them.
The chairperson.
There are over 700 nonprofit organizations in Moore County. And the hardest thing that I always see, and we've had many of them on, how do you give those voices a voice? How do you get the word out and rise above the crowd? Because every organization has a good reason to be. But Vision for More seems to have a pretty good grassroots organization and is growing since 2015.
Well, that's pretty simple. That's Pam Partis.
Right. As a catalyst.
Absolutely. She makes it happen for us all.
Right.
And if you don't have, good people working to promote different events and go out and work with the nonprofits, then the event would go nowhere. And Pam is really the person that makes that happen for us.
Right. You need somebody to drive the bus, right?
Absolutely.
Every bus has passenger seats, but you need somebody to put their hands on the wheel and say, this is the way we're going.
Absolutely.
This year, you have a couple of concerts coming up. Jimmy Buffett,
yes,
the Rolling Stones, and Johnny Cash.
Well, you say that like they're actually going to be here. But
I know. You have to correct me.
Careful.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm hoping that Jimmy Buffett, the band that we've employed for this event, the Land Sharks, Jimmy Buffett often shows up at their performances.
Oh, is that
and
right?
he has actually employed them to work at his restaurant, Margaritaville. So, and if you visit our website, which I'm going to shamelessly promote, Vision, the number 4, mooreasinmorecounty.com.
Give it to me one more time.
Vision, the number 4, more as in morecounty.com.
Okay.
You can check out a YouTube video there, and I think Jimmy actually comes on stage and plays with them there. So I'm hoping to replicate that video here from Moore County.
The some of the past concerts that you've done, with groups that come in. You've done the Beatles. You've done ABBA.
Mm-hmm.
ABBA.
You say ABBA, I say ABBA.
Right. So you're appealing to a demographic in Moore County that there's a strong feel for the music of the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s.
Well,
and music died after that, didn't it? It's gotten just so bad.
That's when, in my opinion, some of the best music was made.
I agree with you. I don't even think it's close. What these kids listen to today, it isn't. You want to show the music, you go back to some really beautiful lyrics, beautifully written.
Okay, that's old people talk.
I don't care. They're wrong and we're right. That's it. I sound like my father.
Well, you
I'm
know
with you, Bill.
Yeah.
The interesting part, particularly for the Beatles, is that a lot of the audience members were grandparents with their parents and the grandchildren.
That's right.
And the grandchildren and the grandparents knew all the words to the same music.
That's right.
Kind of transgenerational. Very interesting.
And the grandparents were getting up and dancing.
They were.
Yeah. I love the music that you feature because it takes, just like people love Moore County because it reminds them of a place they grew up in as kids, some of the areas. The music, there's a strong sense of nostalgia, and you've kind of tapped into that in some of your benefits. How did you pick, Jimmy, how did you pick the song, the groups this year, or the Buffett, the Stones, Johnny Cash? There has to be, you didn't just pull those names out of a hat.
That's a lot of it's the music that I really love.
There you go.
So we actually sit around the office and we'll talk about who would we like to see.
Uh-huh.
And we start doing research on different bands, and we listen to a lot of different bands.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're comparing them against the original band, so you have to be real careful in who you select. But it's also, is it something we really enjoy listening to, and will a crowd enjoy it? So we're trying to, we talk among ourselves about it and say, yes, this would be a good opportunity. Then we'll ask some other people to listen and get feedback.
Okay. So each concert, each event has a different beneficiary?
You got it.
So can you run through some of the organizations that you have benefited from or working with going forward?
Sure. We hosted our first event on January 27th, an intimate evening with Jo Gore. She's a fabulous musician who's from Chapel Hill at the Rooster's Wife.
Right.
So this year we're trying some different venues, and the Rooster's Wife is actually a nonprofit as well. So not only did we partner with the nonprofit, but we shared our proceeds with a wonderful, relatively new nonprofit to Moore County called Continuing the Mission. And they provide service dogs to veterans with PTS.
Okay.
Very wonderful group. We actually had, I'm glad you weren't there, we had some greeters. 2 little Labrador puppies were greeters, and then we had a service dog there. So Susie Lutz unfortunately couldn't join us this evening, but a wonderful new group. So hopefully we can share proceeds that will go to benefit providing a dog to a veteran.
That's good.
In May, Cinco de Mayo, up at Cooper Ford. So again, we're partnering with different local businesses. Aaron Cooper is providing the location and is a sponsor for us, and we're bringing in an outdoor stage along with the Land Sharks. We're going to have food trucks. Food trucks, sell beer and wine.
Nice.
Going to have some parrot heads show up, I hope, and have a real party. We're going to open with the local band, Dark Horse.
Okay.
They're going to start music at 5:30, and then we'll have a little intermission after they're finished and start with the Land Sharks. And that's going to benefit Meals on Wheels of the Sandhills. Again, they receive they are solely funded on private donations. They receive no federal support, and unlike most Meals on Wheels. And then in July, we're going to host a tribute to the Rolling Stones at the high school.
At Robert E. Lee.
At Robert E. Lee High School. And that's with a fabulous band, Satisfaction. They've been producing their international Rolling Stones tour for 13 years.
Right.
And I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but the lead singer not only sounds like Mick Jagger, but looks very much like him.
Wow. And
will
you
be
benefiting?
That's going to go for the Linden Lodge Foundation, and Pathways to Awareness is going to open for them. And we're going to finish up our 2018 season on September 22nd with a tribute to Johnny Cash. And Becca Ray is going to open for him. Todd Allen Henderdean's coming back. And that's going to benefit...
Leo.
Oh, Thank you, Leo. Moore County Law Enforcement Officers Association.
Gotcha. You didn't get Baxter Clement to come in and do Johnny Cash, huh?
You know,
he's a pretty talented guy.
Is talented,
he's very, very
He's
good.
very
you know
much
Baxter?
in demand.
Always enjoyable to see Baxter.
Okay, crazy good, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, maybe next year we can line him up for something.
We had him on a couple of years ago, and they were talking about doing a Johnny Cash thing. There's such an interest in Johnny Cash in this area.
It's true.
And he does great imitations, and he was all ready to take it. So I thought, you were going to say Baxter was coming in to do it, but that's okay.
He's a hard man to hook up with, but maybe now I've got the inroads. I'll tell him you sent me.
There's something about Moore County and living here that makes you want to make the community better. And Vision for More is evidence of a small grassroots organization that just starts. You don't have lofty goals. You're organic. You put blinders on and you go one event at a time. But you can network in this community pretty quickly.
It's true.
Right?
It's very unique, I believe.
It is.
Yes, it's very rewarding, and truly, if you have an idea and want to make a difference, you can.
Yeah. Chris, how did you get involved with Vision for More?
Well,
tell me a little bit about you. And are you from Moore County?
I am not. My wife was actually born in Moore County Hospital before his first health. And her stepfather was Bob Baillie, who founded Vision for More.
Okay.
And so
obviously
Bob. So that's my relationship to Bob and how I got involved
with
it. Bob and I were business partners on several different fronts. And when Bob passed away, we wanted to continue. We had a lot of conversation about, Bob started this. What do we want to do with this?
Right.
And it didn't take a lot of thinking or decision making to say, this makes a difference in the community. We need to continue what Bob started.
Right.
And he was very passionate about helping others, and we just want to continue that passion.
We had him on the show a couple of years ago. And he spoke eloquently, and it was after his accident and the blind and everything that happened, and his work with the Mirror Foundation, and that's what the show was all about. And I didn't know him prior to, but only knew him afterwards. So that makes a lot of sense. So it's in a way it's a legacy that he leaves, and it's the work just gets to be carried on.
Right. You see the difference it makes too.
Yeah.
In fact, our first event, the nonprofit that we teamed up with, they were so happy.
Yep.
About not just the funds, but I think about the relationships they built with a lot more people than they've been able to touch on their own.
Yeah.
And so, us teaming up is not only providing money, it's providing them future volunteers, it's providing them other opportunities to raise money.
Yeah.
So it's good on many fronts for these nonprofits.
Helping get the word out. As you said, it's very hard. There's a lot of different groups here, so we want to support them.
Having the kids on the first two sets, we asked them what the arts meant to them, and not about the production of the Addams Family, but just the arts in general. Their answers were great, and I'm just wondering if there's a market to piggyback and work with the students with the arts and doing a benefit, because it's a lot of conversation with school budgets, with dollars, and how important the education is under the umbrella of the arts versus just a normal curriculum. And what the kids talked about was what they learned: leadership, experience, confidence, and it would marry two very strong interests in the community. I don't know. I mean,
that's an interesting concept.
That's all I have to say to her. It's done. She'll take care of it.
Yeah, next year I
the
think you'll see something happen.
Yeah. It'll all be taken care of tomorrow in an email, and you'll say, here's our plan, and this is where we're going to go, and you don't have to worry about it. So if people want to get on your website, Vision for More, it's Vision for the number 4, moorecounty.com.
Actually, just More. visionformore.com.
No county.
More as in Moore County, Moore. Correct.
Okay, and you said there was a YouTube video.
Yeah, if you check us out, we've got our whole lineup there. You can actually listen to the groups that are performing in advance.
Cool. Just type in Vision for More.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
That's all we need to do. So it'll be a busy spring, and I have a feeling when we have Morgan Sills on with a miracle worker, we certainly will cross-reference the matinee that Sunday matinee and what's going on.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to have all the Boy Scouts there ushering and helping out. They're an amazing group. They do a lot. I had no idea how much they do for our community.
Why don't you come and during that show, why don't you just come and join us?
I get to come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come. I mean, honestly, the lead actor, and you were telling me John James is going to be here, and I think it's somewhere in the first week of April. Morgan will be here, but Morgan doesn't want to talk. He just wants the actor to talk. But I think it would be fine for you to come and join us, and you can talk about the benefit that you're going to be doing during the matinee.
Terrific.
Pam Partis, thanks for joining us. Chris Jordan, it's nice to meet you.
Very good meeting you.
Yeah, Vision for More. I mean, Moore County is a great place to live, and there are lots of organizations that do a lot of good work. But I love organic organizations that start and just work person to person, eyeball to eyeball. It grows very quickly here in Moore County. Good luck to both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody have a great week, and we'll speak with you next week. Thank you.